In the world of business, there is a 50-50 chance of a sole trader to fail within the first 5 years of operating. That's a possibility that it will and it won't. Being a sole proprietor or an entrepreneur is a good and a bad way of making a living, or making more rather than working for somebody else's firm. Today, I'll be talking about the pros, the cons, and why it's better to work for yourself rather than being paid minimum wage in another company. Being the smallest type of business, a sole proprietor is a self-employed person who owns their company, in which there is no legal distinction whatsoever between the trader and the firm. When forming as a sole trader, there is no fee and no legal process or paperwork a person needs to carry out. This is great relief to the sole proprietor, as they can just start making sales rather than spending days, weeks and months on end filling out any paperwork. In the economic world, many people become self-employed and start trading as a sole proprietor because of the following reasons. Because they want to make more money rather than working for another business, personal satisfaction, and to keep low costs and maximize their profits. Being a sole trader can have many advantages and disadvantages. We will discuss more about that later. Here are some examples of what a sole trader could be. An online retail outlet, for example selling on eBay or on Amazon, a barber or a hairdresser, a bakery, a self-employed tradespeople, so for example a plumber, a builder or an electrician, tutors and taxi drivers. So now we have discussed what a sole trader is, let's go and have a look at what entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is the activity of setting up an idea into a business in the hope of making the firm a success and making profit, while taking on financial and non-financial risks. An entrepreneur is commonly seen as an innovator, which means somebody who introduces new methods, ideas and products. An entrepreneur is basically like a sole trader, but instead the sole trader rarely does not employ people, whereas on the other hand, entrepreneur might well do so. Setting up as an entrepreneur also has advantages and disadvantages, which may include that the entrepreneur might get discredited if their idea of a good or service fails. There is no fixed salary when being an entrepreneur, there is unlimited liability, and the entrepreneur has complete control over the firm. So those were the disadvantages and advantages of being an entrepreneur. Now let's have a look at famous entrepreneurs that had made their businesses a big success. These people could be Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. So now that we have talked about what a sole trader is and what an entrepreneur is, let's have a look at the advantages and disadvantages of a sole trader. So here are the advantages. As mentioned previously, a sole trader is a person who becomes self-employed and starts a firm in the hopes of making a profit. Operating as a sole trader can have many benefits, including operating as a sole trader means that you can get full control of the firm. Operating as a sole trader means that you have ownership of profit, you get more privacy, there is personal satisfaction, and the sole trader business is easy to set up. As well as having advantages, operating as a sole trader may have disadvantages too, which we'll discuss now. A sole trader has unlimited liability, which means that the sole trader has full legal responsibility to debts and losses, which means that the personal assets are at risk. There are also long hours of work a day, there is a fixed amount of finance, there is also a fixed amount of resources, and it's also hard to cover holidays and illness. So now comes the conclusion. In my opinion, I think that being a sole trader is better than working for someone else, as you can be your own boss and most importantly, you can maximize profits, trying to make more money as your salary rather than working for someone else.